Welcome to Terry's Kitchen, where we talk food, faith, and family. And today is a very, very special day because I have two dear, sweet friends with me. I have Kathy Caulfield and her daughter, Carrie. I know her by Carrie Ann, but you know, as she's gotten older, Carrie. So they have joined me today, and you see we're in just a party mode. I was blessed a couple months ago. Kathy's been watching our videos, and a little backstory with how we evolved to today. I worked on long-term care for 17 years, and what a wonderful 17 years. And Kathy's mom, Frances, was a resident there. And Kathy actually worked there too, and I remember Carrie Ann coming in to see her grandmother, and Frances and I love to talk food. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I talk food. And Frances entertained my grandmother, and I enjoy to entertain. And so Frances and I just hit it off. And so when Kathy, reached out to me a couple months ago, and she said, I've been watching your videos, and I want to give you Mom's Punch Bowl. Well, it still gives me cold chills, and about being humbled and honored to be able to receive such a gift, and that's this punch bowl before me here, and so I wanted to bring them in, and we have punch. We've got some goodies and snacks just to talk about, the history of this punch bowl and her mom's time and what Carrie remembers of her grandmother. And so welcome, and thank you all for coming in.
Thank you, Terry.
This means so much to me to be able to, I will just cherish it.
I'm glad.
It's an honor to be here and celebrate this.
Yes,
today.
it is.
Well,
Yes.
wonderful. So I have seen many punch bowls, but I have never seen this design. And so when Kathy and Jeff, Kathy's husband Jeff, brought it in and took it out, I have never seen this punch bowl. And how long has she had this?
I don't ever remember not having it.
Okay.
So it's older than me. And so she loved it. She had parties, showers, every kind of entertaining she did, she used this punch bowl. And I remember a retirement party she had for my 7th grade teacher, Lesta Beeler. A lot of people watching probably had her. And using this punch bowl, and, she just loved it. And, at the time, it's big, and it's hard to, you feel like you said earlier, that you were going to break it. I was always afraid of that too. That's why I wasn't using it, because I probably would have done that. But, Mom used it. She loved it. She told stories about it forever, and, I just felt like this. I heard you on one of your videos talking about a wedding shower for your niece. And I thought, this is perfect. Mom loved Terry, and she would love for Terry to have this and use it. And
It's and that's what these videos are about. It's talking, it's not only the food. Somebody, asked me, they said, you talk a lot about food, but it's not only the food, it's the fellowship around the food. Mm-hmm. For this punch bowl, say it's 60 years old, and there is nothing is wrong with this punch bowl. And there's the little beads, there's not even a chip. And as I was telling Kathy earlier, and Carrie, when I was washing it up, and I just didn't want to, after 60 years of Frances taking care of this punch bowl, I didn't want to be the one to chip anything. And so, because I just feel truly the love, and it's going to be used. And so, Carrie, you remember the punch bowl with your grandmother, and
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think I remember it being much bigger because I was much smaller when it was used on a regular basis. So I remember her making, I want to say it was a sherbet-based punch, like a lime sherbet with just ginger ale. Maybe some pineapple juice.
Okay.
But I remember it foamed up like a hot tub. You know, it always foamed up. But to me, as a little child, I remember it would always be at the end of the dining room table and toward the living room. And it was at the end because she was very orderly about how she put food on the table. I mean, everything had, you know, there was logic to it and her planning. So I remember this always being at the end, and I think I helped her with it a few times, but now looking back, I'm so glad I never broke anything. But I do remember the foamy punch that she would make and put in there, and how I could probably have drank the whole bowl of the punch because it was so good. But I didn't remember this base. I just remember the bowl and how big it seemed to me when I was a little girl. So seeing this today, I didn't remember this base being there. It's a separate piece, right?
It is. It is. And so it is a separate piece. And what is so unique about it, and when they brought it in that day, that the cups, because there's been punch bowls that have the cups coming off of the top, and that's how my mother has one, but I had never seen the tray either. And now I don't know when with your grandmother that I understand the logic of having it at the end of the table, and I can appreciate, if I'm entertaining, I want to make sure that everything is placed. And I will place the dishes prior to putting the food to make sure that they are placed to where, so I can appreciate. So that's why Frances and I got along so well. And because that meant a lot. So I can see that she may not have used that. She may have used this tray for something else. But I like the look of that and the uniform of it, and the beads on it is just striking. And I'll show you this ladle, and there's a little stand underneath for it to sit. And so I think that is, and glass, and it just, like I said, I'm just very cautious with it. And when you said about the foamy, there was two types of punch. This is a punch, my grandmother Kopp's recipe for her punch. And I did half the recipe, and I still have another container that's huge. So I probably could have cut this down, because I don't know what container would hold the amount of punch that is needed for this particular recipe. But we would always use, Grandma Kopp would use, I remember seeing the lime. It depended on what holiday or what event it was, that what color you had, because seeing orange, and the raspberry sherbet. Remember raspberry sherbet that you had, but Grandma would just do the ginger ale and the raspberry sherbet. So the lime sherbet, that all that foam, because that's what you just wanted to go in, and if you were lucky enough to get a chunk of the sherbet, you know, it was happy days. It was happy days. It was a prize to get that. And but just again, I just can't tell you enough how honored I am, and I will. It has a special place in our house. It is on our buffet in our dining room, and it sits there, and that's why I've got to clean it every now and then, because you know you get a little dust. But it's definitely a piece that needs to be displayed, and it's going to be displayed.
Are all the cups still? It's the full set of cups is still intact, right?
Oh yeah, there is not. Like I said, it's, and I don't know if you can kind of see the cups. They are very delicate. But yeah, there is not the scratch. So if you helped clean, or helped clean up you did a good job, Kathy. So,
well, actually, when Mom had it, of course, people didn't have dishwashers way back then. But when I had it, I put it in the dishwasher on the china setting, and it did fine. It did fine. It was probably safer than me trying to wash everything individually. So
okay, good to know.
Yeah,
I hand washed because I was afraid.
No, it worked. It did fine. It did fine.
Okay,
so.
well maybe doing that. but it's just, I can see many parties coming in the future. And this is the first official. I wanted to wait and have Kathy and Carrie here to kind of just bring it into our home and use it. So I didn't want to use it until they came and we did around this table. And those memories, I think Francis would be happy, and I hope so. I said many a time about 11:30 after Francis had her bath and my duties were done in the morning, we were waiting for lunch, I would sneak into the room and sit on the side of the bed, and Francis was in her wheelchair and I was on the side of the bed, and we talked food and family and the fellowship. So again, all those are just wonderful, wonderful memories. And I just can't thank you all enough, not only, again, for honoring me with this, but also joining me today.
Well, thank you for having us, Terry.
Most
and
definitely.
Mom would be so proud of you having this. She would be so proud, I know. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
This was very special to
Yes,
her.
it
And
is.
it only came out on special occasions, and this is another special occasion. And,
Yeah.
and she would be very honored that you have it. And probably trust you with it more than she trusts Mom and I. With it, as delicate as it is, but yeah, I remembered it being beautiful, but boy, it's timeless. It looks like it hasn't aged like me, or there are people. So it's just so I did not remember it being so sparkly and perfect, but it still is.
And that's what it's amazing, and that's what struck me when you said she's always had it as long as you could remember, that how, it is, again, there's no chip or anything, because you could tell how she cherished that, she took care of it, and as you said, it's timeless, and so will always, I will take very good care of it, and anytime that you want to borrow it, or we need to have another celebration, we will.
Okay.
We will. There's no doubt about it. So no doubt about it.
Love
so
it. It's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
thank you, Terry.
well, thank you both. I tell you, we're just gonna get off camera here. We're gonna just have a little time of fellowship and having some party food here. And wish you could join us. But we do appreciate you watching our videos, liking, sharing, subscribing. We do appreciate it. Blessings.